Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Java with Jim. I am Jim Phillips. I trust you're doing well today. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to read an article, I guess you can call it an article that I wrote probably, it's got to be 4 or 5 years ago. I've posted it a couple of times, but I've never shared it verbally, and I just thought this might be something good to share during this time of year. We're in the middle of fall and temperatures changing. Leaves are changing, trees are losing the leaves, just a lot of things happening within nature. It's a transition period. And so I wrote this, and it's called The Fall of Humanity. And I don't want you to misunderstand the title, because it's not about the decline of humanity. It's really about looking at how nature provides for us an opportunity to really see who we are, what we're all about, more specifically, what we can do, and that nature serves as an example to us of how things can be. So I'm just going to read it as it was written, and certainly welcome any questions or comments that you might have. Please place those wherever you see this video. Again, it's called The Fall of Humanity. I wrote it, I think, 4 or 5 years ago. So again, I'm going to read it as it is. Okay, I agree the title is a little dramatic. The fall of humanity is a metaphor for a season in our lives, a time of transition and reflection. By simply being aware of what fall represents in nature, as one of her many expressions, we are shown how we might live in full expression by enjoying, embracing, and allowing what life offers for that full expression. This became very clear to me during an early morning walk when I observed nature in transition as summer steps aside to invite fall's full expression. This transition is definitely being reflected in the changing temperatures, and even more so through the leaves on the trees, as they've been transitioning from the greens of summer to the golds, reds, and oranges of the fall, to their final expression of brown. It is then their initial purpose has been served, and they fall from the tree, revealing the bare canvas upon which spring will paint her masterpiece. Our opportunity for transition and greater expression lies in reflecting on our seasons just past. The leading behind of thoughts, beliefs, experiences, and feelings that color our perspective of who we are and what we're capable of creating. Our history does not and cannot tell us who we are or what we're capable of creating and experiencing. It can only show us who we were in that moment the history was created. Leaving behind is a letting go of all that has served us in expressing and experiencing who we were in that season. It is recognizing that just as a leaf falls from a tree because there is no longer an attachment, so should it be with all thoughts, beliefs, and feelings that would limit who we are in the process of becoming, thus making way for the new growth life lovingly and assuredly brings our way. As we allow the limiting thoughts and beliefs and their intended feelings fall from our minds, we are left with the blank canvas upon which to paint our masterpiece, our truth, and create the experiences of a life and full expression of the self that we truly desires. The falling away of limiting thoughts and beliefs isn't the only message nature offers during this season of transition. The trees, bare and stark, offer the opportunity to look at ourselves in much the same way. A tree is a tree, and as such, doesn't question itself as a tree. It knows that as a product of nature, it is perfect in every way for what it is intended to do. It doesn't compare itself to the tree standing next to it or the one further into the forest. It doesn't measure its height, spread, or color as a determining factor as to its worthiness as a tree. It knows it isn't any less than another tree that might bear fruit or flower. It is secure in knowing that it is a tree, the tree it was intended to be. It is a tree and allows itself to be that tree with its knots, twisted branches, and slight curve to the left. It doesn't criticize or judge another tree for the way it looks, the way it bends, its color, or its number of branches. A tree knows that it and every other tree is the perfect expression of nature it is intended to be. A tree withstands the storms of life by standing strong, proud, and sure, yet bending when life requires it do so. Its branches spread wide, ever reaching towards the heavens to receive all that life would rain upon it. A tree allows and accepts the changes that comes its way without complaint. It knows it is a necessary phase of life for its continued growth, evolution, and expression of the tree that it is. At times it will appear naked and vulnerable, yet it knows those times are short-lived. A tree knows that it is in these times of vulnerability and exposure to the elements of life that it is being prepared for a moment of glory when it once again springs forth into full expression of its magnificence. Like a tree, we would be wise to accept, honor, respect, and appreciate who we are, a perfect expression of the divine, and do so without complaint or criticism. We would be wise to know and trust that we are provided all that we need to live in full expression of that which we are and are intended to be, no matter the storms of life through which we will surely pass. We look at a single tree in the fall and marvel at its beauty and the colors of its full display. And yet, we can also look into a forest or upon a mountain exploding with the color of many trees of many shapes, sizes, and colors, to see they have joined together to paint a picture beyond description, one that no tree alone can express. As each of us lives in full expression in the size, shape, and color with which we have been blessed, know that as a single expression of the divine, you are perfect, and that as each perfect expression of the divine stands shoulder to shoulder, complementing all the other expressions of the divine, we complete the tapestry of humanity that is beyond description. So the next time you take a walk and see a tree, regardless of its shape, size, or color, thank it for living in full expression. Thank it for the invitation it extends to you, to each of us, to live in full expression of the truth of who we are. There's a couple of quotes that I have in here too that were not a part of the written dialogue, although it's on here, and I'll read these real quick. A tree is a tree and lives in the full expression because it knows no other way. And then another one on here is, as we live in full expression of our truth, the divine is fully expressed. I just wanted to share this. I thought it was appropriate given this time of year. As I said, I've published it a couple of times. I think nature shows us an amazing contrast. Well, I shouldn't say contrast. Well, it is. It shows an amazing contrast to who all too often we show ourselves to be, which is not the truth of who we are. And yet a tree cannot be other than it is. It is a tree. It always has been a tree, always will be a tree. And yet we see how trees stand shoulder to shoulder. We see the magnificence of the color that it brings to us to witness. We see how they support one another. In fact, many trees, when they're growing in a grove or in a forest, the roots are knotted together and they support one another against the strong winds that might come or the erosion and things of that nature. They support one another in a very significant way. But I just thought this was a way for us to really look at who we are as humanity, look at how we can really gain something by looking at how trees are full expressions of the divine expression that they are. And that as we live in full expression of our truth, we support one another. We give each other an example of what is possible for one another. And we make the world a better place. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time today. Until next time on another episode of Java with Jim, take care and be well. We'll talk to you soon. Bye now.